back home, the Northern Territory has recorded 3 new COVID cases in the past 24 hours. Live to Matt Cunningham in Darwin. Matt, the virus has spread to more Indigenous communities.
That's right. We've just had an update from authorities here in the Northern Territory. We now have heard of another community where the virus has been detected. That's the outstation of Walkabout Bore near Barrow Creek. That's about 200 kilometres north of Alice Springs. There were 2 cases detected from there, a man and a woman. Those cases were detected after the woman came forward at the Alice Springs Hospital for treatment for an unrelated illness. She later tested positive to COVID-19. We now have 112 cases linked to this Katherine cluster, and those cases have spread to a number of remote Indigenous communities. We know that it started at the Binjari community near Katherine. There's also been cases in Robinson River, near the Queensland border at Kalkarinji, and further south at Ali Karung. Of concern in Ali Karung and the entire Barkly region around Tennant Creek, where there have been a number of cases recorded in recent days, is the low rates of vaccination. In fact, the Acting Chief Minister, Nicole Madison, revealed that the double vaccination rate at Ali Karung is just 33%. She is urging people to come forward and get vaccinated. Now, all this is happening while the Northern Territory opens its borders to the rest of the country, Andrea. From today, people can come to the Northern Territory from any part of Australia without the need to quarantine. I did speak to some people as they arrived at the airport this morning. Here's a bit of what they had to say.
We were planning to go to WA, but you got to quarantine there for the 2 weeks, so we changed plans and came up here, which is good. We got processed pretty quickly, which was really good, but there is a big line up there, and I think because the rules changed last night, there's a bit of confusion. We didn't realise you had to do the test, or else we would have probably done it yesterday, but it's all good. We got out pretty quickly.
They're a bit of an annoyance, but, you know, it's understandable. Safety first. Keep everyone safe and healthy.
So there is a strict testing regime for those people coming to the Northern Territory, even though they no longer have to quarantine. They do need to return a negative PCR test in the 72 hours before they arrive, another test on arrival, and a third test 6 days after they arrive in the Northern Territory. People who are unvaccinated have basically been told they're not welcome here. They can return if they are a Northern Territory resident and they receive an exemption, but they'll need to spend 14 days in supervised quarantine at a cost of $2,500. The government here really trying to lift that vaccination rate. They have put lockdowns in place in Ali Karung and Tennant Creek. That came despite the Prime Minister saying last Friday that he didn't want to see lockdowns anymore in this country. Nicole Madison has said they will have to continue to lock people down while those vaccination rates remain low. She did urge people to get vaccinated, and any people who had been in those areas where we are seeing the virus, if they have any symptoms, urging them to come forward and get tested. Authorities trying to get on top of this virus before Christmas this weekend.
We all want to celebrate Christmas with our loved ones, with our families and with our mates, and with as little restriction as possible. But that means we have to do the heavy lifting now, so we can be in a position to assess this decision around the lockdown.
There had been calls from Aboriginal health groups to delay the reopening of the borders for a few weeks, particularly given what we're seeing with the Omicron variant in the eastern states. But Nicole Madison, when she was asked about that today, she said the government had no plans to close the borders again. She said we have to get to a situation in this country where we learn to live with COVID-19.